Hey, this is B from Kongs R Us, and today we're going to be doing a version 2 update tutorial on the Arcade1Up Pinball hack. The one that you saw earlier last week on Friday was the first release made by our mystery encoder that developed this script that allows you to put all 30 tables onto your single Arcade1Up pinball machine. Over the weekend, we got a ton of views on both my showcase and tutorial and tons of questions about people having issues, but there was a good number of people that finished the process and did it themselves. So kudos to everybody that did it themselves. But there was a lot of folks that still had troubleshooting issues. So today, this morning, our mystery coder released a version 2 of the script package that cleaned up a little bit of things, hopefully made it easier for anybody that had issues with the first one, especially if you ran into some of those option 1, option 2 issues. We're going to do another live demo right now for the full process for anybody that missed it. If you had success on the version 1, you don't have to follow this one at all. There's no additional improvements to the actual interface itself. It does the same end result. This is just an easier installation process for those that might be having issues. So we'll go over some of the tips to help folks along. And then at the end of the stream, we'll talk about some potential updates that our mystery coder might be working on for version 3. So stay tuned. But let's get into it. First off, we're going to go ahead and share our screen to go over what you're going to need to get this entire thing started. So the first thing you're going to need is what you call it, sorry, this downloads folder. So what are you going to do? You're going to download all these files again like last time. You need PowerShell. You're going to need Zadig, which is all the links are in this description for this video, and this Baller version 2 link. Where are you going to get this? In the description of this video, I actually have a link to the version 2 Baller installer that is actually put onto the new open.paste website. It's really funny. If you read the updated script, I finally made it. I made it to the top of this FU round 2. And there I am. So although I'm not taking any credit for this, it's great to see that there is some humor left in this world. I'm laughing because although he is giving lots of FUs to many people, there's little hearts here. So I think he's doing it with love. But anyways, he's giving a lot of these folks shout outs. So if you're here, consider yourself honored to be on this list. But if you need the link to the actual new baller style, it's here, the download link. So that is the new place to get it. The link is in the descriptions to grab that. Now let's get into actually starting from the beginning on what to do once you have everything installed. We're going to go ahead and share our entire screen now. You guys can see exactly what I'm doing. So, okay, so here we are. My entire screen is shared now. I'm going to start with my downloads folder. So the first thing I'm going to do right from the get-go is right click. You need 7-zip to extract files from that new Baller version 2. And I'm going to put this on my desktop. And I really encourage everybody who's doing this to put this onto your desktop, or at least put it into a place where your folder structure does not have any spaces. If you put this into a custom folder and you have spaces, say you put Arcade1Up -pinball or something, and it's trying to extract from this file, you are going to get potential errors. So that's one issue that people came across, where people were putting it into folders that they had already in their downloads folder that had spaces in the folder file structure. So you can see here, there's no spaces here. And so this is what you're going to need to be able to get the script up and running. The next thing you're going to need is PowerShell. So again, I'm using PowerShell 7.1.4. You can use any version that you want that's later than 5.1. I think that's coder was saying. We're going to extract files and put it into the exact same location that we just unzipped our Baller V2. And actually, we're going to put it, there was 2 folders, the Baller V2 and then A1 Ball. And we're going to drop it into the A1 Ball screen. So that's going to unzip there. And now we're going to fold over to our folder. So from here, you have the Baller V2 A1 Ball. We now have PowerShell, the tools, and there's some updated scripts here. The thing that made this simpler is that there's some updated changes to this README file. So I highly, highly, highly recommend, if anybody is still having issues, look at this README. And yes, some little childish notes here, but it talks about additional instructions to update using option 1 to set up the PCB, and then option 2 to set up your PC. This can be done multiple times now. Use option 12, 13, 14 to download tables, 6, 7, 8 to dump them, and then 3, 4, 5 to actually install them. And so these are also available for folks that want to use Mac OS X. We have an actual version and instructions here to use this on a Mac. I don't have a Mac, so I can't test this, but I did speak to somebody else in the community that did test it out on a Mac, and they had success on this. So if you have a Mac and want to do this mod, you can now do it doing the version 2 as well. And these are all the little troubleshooting devices. If you don't have a device in Zadig, get an error about a file not being fine, check out this README section because it has lots more information to help you out. So that's the first change that you'll see. Now let's get into the script itself. We're going to go into PowerShell, go all the way down to P, so pwsh.exe, right click, We're going to run this as administrator. So once you get into your command prompt here, the first file that it's going to put you into is this PowerShell. So we're going to hit CD period to change directories. And I finally learned the differences between my forward slashes and backslashes. So you're going to start typing in period backslash baller.ps1. I felt really embarrassed that I was calling it forward slashes, but they're backslashes, and you hit enter. So here is the new Arcade1Up Baller Installer script, brought to you by Mysterious Coder. I called you Mystery Encoder, by the way, not Mysterious Coder, so that you can't give me credit for. But my name got into the script for better or worse. I don't want to take any credit for this at all, but I am just helping share the information that's been done by this guy who has some other lovely words in the community for here. Some good information about the legal disclaimers if you're really worried about that as well, and what the options are. So now you can tell he's cleaned up with the options to make it easier to read. You have option 1, which is the PCB setup, and option 2 is the PC setup. These were reversed before. So if you're using installation version number 1, these were flipped, and you had to do option 2 first and then 1. So now in this version 2, you have to do option 1 first, then option 2. Everything else remains the same. 3, 4, 5 is installing the tables. 6, 7, 8 is dumping the tables. 12, 13, 14 is downloading them from the A1UP servers. He removed 9 and 10, which really didn't work anyway. So this is a really clean information to do this, and some additional instructions to connect your PCB. And now you can enter your options. The other really cool thing, I'm going to start doing this right now. I'm going to go ahead and just start from scratch. I'm going to download Attack from Mars. You can see that it's already downloading the Attack from Mars patch from the Arcade1Up server, and it's still there. It's 500 megabytes. The cool thing is, after you finish this, before I had to keep typing in backslash baller.ps1, this script now allows you and just takes you back to that menu where you can just type in the next menu. So you don't have to keep typing that in each time. So all you have to do is just press it once and you're good and you're ready to go. So you'll see this downloaded. It's going to extract it. A couple people were asking, I'm having issues actually pulling this from the Arcade1Up website. So not only does it download the exact patches on the Arcade1Up site, it takes that the actual download and then extracts it and puts it into a .apk format. So there has been folks that said they downloaded the files from the Arcade1Up website, put it in the same folder, renamed it. For example, Attack from Mars would be wms.zip, and then you ran this option number 12, and it still pulls it into the APK file. So you could do that as well if you were not able to get it. But if you look, it says we got here without any errors. You're good to, and you have the WMS APK. And then look, it brought you right back to this options, and we're ready to do this again. So we're going to go ahead and do option number 13. Again, I'm going to do this in real time for anybody that was having issues with this, so you can see how long it takes. And hopefully we'll get this set up with my Arcade1Up Pinball and do the installation. Now my PCB is already flashed, but that's okay. I've confirmed with the coder that it won't hurt your PCB if you redo this at all. But if you were successful with part 1, there's no need for you to do this. This is only for people that were having issues and you want to get a fresh install, or for brand new people that are watching this for the first time. I highly recommend using this version rather than the version 1.1 because it's slightly easier to use. So you can see everything was detected. It's pulling everything and then extracting and putting it into that .apk format. So that's the second one. And then we're going to do the third one. And then I'll talk a little bit about connecting your PC for folks that were having issues. Sorry, not your PC, your PCB and having issues. So let's go ahead and do that third one. Download Star Wars, option 14, enter, and it's going to download that. So again, you don't have to keep typing in that baller SPS1 file. Super easy to do. So while this one gets propped up and ready to go, for folks that watch the first video or you don't have it, you may want to follow along the official Arcade1Up video on how to put your PCB into flash mode. I have this open up because it's just easier for me to access, but you would be accessing this from the back. So you would take off the 4 screws in the back of your Arcade1Up, and the PCB will be attached to the back of the monitor. From there, you're going to unplug your entire device. So I'll pull out the plug. You're going to flip the switch on the back of the PCB away from the on position that turns it into flash mode. And then you're going to plug in a micro USB cable. So that's pretty much it for actually getting your PCB ready to plug into your PC. I recommend doing this first part first, where you grab all the files before you actually install everything, because it's going to be that much easier. So now we have the Star Wars APK. Enjoy. Perfect. So now that's good. We're going to go ahead and go back now to our downloads folder and open up Zadig. So this is where people were having some issues. I think downloading was okay for the most part. Here's where people started having some issues when they're plugging in their PCB. So we're going to open up Zadig. If I go to options and list all devices, you will see 11 devices found. And so what you're going to have to do is plug in your device. It depends on the PC you have. I saw somebody said that had differences with doing a USB 2.0 or 3.0 slot. If it's an old PCB, you might have issues with that, or PC, but it shouldn't matter. So I have it plugged in. I just plugged in the PCB via micro USB cable into my PC. So you will need a micro USB to this cable to plug into your PC. And then some people forgot to do this, where actually you need to flip the on switch in order to power on your cab while it's flashed. And then that's what's going to detect as a device. So you'll hear that device popping up onto your windows. You see now it says 12 devices here, and I'm going to drop down. And for this one, this is the device ID you're looking for. It might say unknown device. It might say something else. You might see something else here, but you're looking for USB ID 1F3A EFE8. And I had already flashed this to this driver, but say this wasn't here. All you need to do is just make sure that this says WinUSB, and then you'll see install driver. So I'm just going to reinstall this driver so you guys can see exactly how long it takes when you're doing this. And then we're going to go back to our other file and make sure to finish everything up in PowerShell. So hopefully this is a little bit easier, but you guys should follow along to this part. And the next part is super easier. This is where the step that most people were having the most issues with. All right, let's pull up chat. I love how there's things like FUB Kong. I'll go ahead and add my other pinball machine camera here for the live demo afterwards. Again, you don't have to have this PC, or sorry, I keep saying PC, the PCB open on the front. I was just modding this, and I really don't know what I'm going to do with my Star Wars Arcade1Up Pinball. At first, I was going to finish modding it completely with the PC, but I put so much perk into my Arcade Legends pinball machine that this would put on the back burner for a while. So we'll figure out what to do with it. But this mod is really cool. So the driver was successfully installed. Let's move on to our next step. Okay. So every time you replug this into your PC, now you're going to have to redo options 1 and options 2 again before you install your pack. So we're going to open up our PowerShell one more time. Okay. And so now that we're here, we're going to start with option 1, PCB setup. Okay, so everything is detected. It was installed via Zadig. So PCB setup is option 1. So we're going to do this. And the difference between the first one and this one is last time you had to do option 2 first and then 1. For both the Mac OS version and the Windows version, moving forward, you would do option 1 first and then option 2. That's the key difference here between version 1 and version 2. Okay, so we're going to do option 1, hit enter. It's tempting to set up the PCB. Make sure you follow the Zadig steps before doing this. Hit Y and enter yes. And it's checking if the PC is connected to using the correct driver. PCB appears to be using the correct driver. Setup is going to take about 15 minutes. It could take a while. It usually doesn't take that long. Depending on the speed of your PC, this is going to take about 2 minutes to flash everything and get going. Once this setup is done, this is the key step. If you're looking at the actual README file in the folder here, some of the biggest issues people were happening is that people were having issues between the time it takes to do option 1 and option 2. That people were kind of starting it right away. But if you wait about 45 seconds to a minute between these two steps, between option 1 and option 2, that's what's going to allow your PC to change it, because it's changing it from a USB interface device into a network device. And so that's the biggest option. Just make sure you wait that additional time before doing that. If let's see if there's anything else here that I can cover while we're waiting. There was some funny stuff in this script, by the way. If you go back all the way to the top script, it's pretty dang hilarious. But I like how he references several people. And I didn't even make the list the first time, but somehow covering this the last couple of days has put me on the top of the FU list. So hearts to you, mystery coder. But you are making some things possible. But while we're waiting, let's talk about future possibilities for this. So as I was testing this out earlier today, I was able to communicate back with Mystery Coder about some issues that I saw on the README file. We corrected that really fast. But the coolest thing is that he is a member of the community. He's been listening to feedback, which means there could be future updates to this. Maybe the front end looks a little bit cleaner. It's very simple right now. It's just 3 different images that are stacked together with the test window. It also has like that same mirror image on the back glass too. Like, I would love, if he's looking for feedback, because it sounds like he might be taking ideas, a nicer front end that makes those icons bigger so you can kind of select them, have a nicer user end front end. I know this is the next step. If you're going to be updating it, that's one thing you might be able to do. And the biggest feature most people are asking about is switching between the table sets, because in order to switch between the table sets, you have to flip the off switch and then flip it on again, and it will take you back to the front end launch menu. So I think he had mentioned he's exploring it. Doesn't know if it's going to happen, but it is being explored that those features could be added, where you can possibly maybe hold down a combination of buttons or hold a button down for a certain amount of time, and then it would take you back into the front end menu. So that would be really cool. So that way you don't have to keep flipping your switch on and off. You know, these PCBs are meant to withstand switching things off and on, but I always get heartburn when I have to just power something off completely, especially if it's going to be really quick to turn something on. You always have the possibility of burning out your PCB or doing something else with it. So those are features that potentially could be part of version 3. So I'm just kind of putting it out there that our mystery coder is doing this out of the goodness of his heart, or not, or maybe he's just looking to splash and you know, do this for kicks to get a big kick out of it for everybody that's been following along. I've been having a good time following along with this, and I hope this gives you extra value for your pinball machine, whatever you decide to do with it. And I'll just leave it at that. If you want to keep it, great. If you want to sell it, great. But know that this was made so that we can explore possibilities and go for it. Okay, so if you can hear it, my PC now, it says waiting for PCB to come up with programming mode. It's actually disconnected the PC or the USB, and it's reconnecting twice. And now you can see it says, do you want to allow your PC to be discovered by other PCs on this network? The USB device is now turned into a network device. So this is good news. You want to see your PC and feel it like disconnect and reconnect twice before you move forward. Okay, so I'm just going to click click no for this. And then while this is waiting for your PC to become up in programming mode, and this should finish up in just a second, and then we'll be able to do option 2 and then install some tables, and then we'll test run this. Hopefully it won't take as long this time around if there's any potential issues. Again, I've already done this for my PCB, so there shouldn't be any issues, but we are going to see hopefully everything work just fine. All right, let's see if there's any comments here. Combo to back out would be such an a-hole move. You froze it. You right-clicked it. Oh, I'm not supposed to right-click it. Okay. Oh, there's somebody here. All right. Is it frozen? Do I need to press enter? Oh, I just had to press enter. Okay, so there it is. I just pushed enter. Setup. PCB setup should be complete. There it is. Okay, so now we're going to do option 2. Option 2, PC setup. Hit option 2 and enter. Attempting to set up PC, checking if the PC is connected, and finish setting up PC for interaction with the PCB. You should now be ready to dump or install the APKs. So this is my mistake earlier. I was thinking like dumping means removing. No, dumping is the terminology for like when you're dumping your original table information onto your PC. So this is just the backup dumping of copying your original tables from your system back onto your PC. So if you're using the dump section here, make sure you don't already have the files in the folder that you're running this script from, because essentially it's going to create an image of whatever you have on your tables. So for example, if some people didn't want to grab the versions from Arcade1Up site and they just wanted to pull your stock image from Arcade1Up or from any of those sites, then you can just grab it and dump it, and you'll have a copy of it on your machine. So it's like backing up your file. So that's what dumping is. And here's installing. So installing 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and install Star Wars number 3. Installing the Star Wars tables. And I don't know if I just bumped something and it disconnected or not, because I just heard a disconnect. If I encounter issues, read the script tells you. Could not connect to the PCB. And please ensure you've connected steps 1, 2, 3. Ugh. I must have like bumped the table. Hold on. There it is. I bumped my micro USB cable while I was talking. Did you guys hear that? I was like right in the middle of me talking. Of course, it's like making all these weird sounds. I did this earlier without any issues, but because this is a live stream, I had to mess around and be a little bit funky. So there was something wrong with my connection to the PCB. So let's go ahead and try it one more time just to double check. If you encounter issues, press any key to exit. So we might have to do this one more time. If you come up with an issue and you see this, follow the instructions, follow the troubleshooting guides. This is This is good that this happened because it might happen to other people. Another tip that I found out about PowerShell, because somebody mentioned this to me, I think his name was Aaron. If you type in baller.ps1 and you double tap the tab key, it'll automatically add in the right executable command structure. So I was like, oh, that's a nice little tip. I don't have to do anything. All right, so let's just double check that my option 1 and 2 is set up one more time. If it reconnected, do I have to do number 2 again? Number 1? All right, let's do number 1 and 2 again. Error USB failed device is not found. Let's just double check that it's happening. I had to bump my cable. It was working right before the stream. And of course, make sure you follow the Zig steps. I don't know if it's going to happen right now, if it's going to actually work. Let's see if Mystery Coder is here and helping out. Hey, the Coder was wins is here. It's probably still in the network, but you didn't power it off. Just press Control C. Pinel. Okay, Control C. All right. All right, let's try it one more time. Baller.ps1. Run it one more time. Let's see if the PC setup is already set. Counter issues, press enter option, press 2 any key to exit. What is going on? This is not going as smoothly as my first stream, but that's okay. This is live modding at its best. And baller.ps1. Whoops. Baller.ps1. I'm trying to use that fancy double tap. There it is. Okay, so I have everything downloaded. We're going to do this option one more time. And PCB set to off position. The steps. I'm getting an error. USB failed device is not found. It wouldn't show up here either because already it's been done. So this is where I don't know what to do next. What is he saying? Check your network adapters. Oh, Tom Garrett is here. Check your network adapters. Network status. All right, is it here? It was this one, remote NDIS compatible device. I think it's here. I think it's working. Waiting for BCB to come up in programming mode. All right, I swear this was working like right before the stream, but it always happens. So this is why he has the README files here about what's going on. What's going on? If there's an error in the network failing, disable your firewall, power cycle the cabinet, and try starting again with option 1. Why don't we do that? Why don't we power this off and then start again one more time? Because I think that's what happened. I'm going to power this off, going to disconnect the PCB, and we're just going to start all the way again just to make sure that we're running this correctly. Okay, so let's go ahead and power this on, plug this in, power on. So the first time we do that, we should be able to do this and double check to make sure that it's listed there. List all devices. So that's there. Okay, so every time you plug it in, you're going to have to redo this. And then we're going to go ahead and run our baller.ps1. Hit option 1. Make sure the Zig steps are doing it. And there it is. Okay, so it's going to do that one more time. It's because I had like bumped it and did something funny. So we're going to have to wait for this one more time for 2 minutes until the stream is up. Live modding. You didn't need to start from scratch, but it's fine. F you. No. That's why I told you to Control C and install. But I think he's watching me. I think he's watching me and knows. I didn't pay attention to The Last of Us, so I have no idea what's going on. He only saw the roots. I thought you heard your USB connector. Oh, I don't need to do the PCB setup. I could have just done it again. Oh, I see what he was talking about. This is a terrible live modding solution. Maybe I'll just delete this stream and then do an actual edited tutorial, because now I have the time. Because I wanted to get this out before early and just be like, hey, let's just do it. And then this time I was like, oh, I wanted to test it and do a live tutorial. So I might delete this stream and do a better version of it where you can see everything working in real time. But I appreciate everybody that's here. I probably could have just did step number 3 and move forward with it. It looks like it was working. Let's double check where we're at with our script. 47 more seconds. For the future, if this happens, the our NDSS adapter, all you have to do is install the tables. Oh, I see. Got it. So I could have just hit script number 3. I think that happened in my first stream where like there was some weird funky stuff that was happening, and then I was hitting 3 and then it didn't work. But I thought I tried hitting the 3 earlier and it didn't work. So we all learn. I'm not the coder, if you couldn't tell. If people were saying something funny enough, people were like, hey, I've never seen Mystery Coder and B Kong in the same room together. It should be B. But no, obviously you can tell that I'm just following along just as much as you are with this information. So hopefully there's more people that cover this a little bit better than I do. I think I was just one of the first people to put some content out there and showcase what people are doing. I'm actually really excited for version 3 to see what's happening and making sure that this works up and running. I was trying to even test out some of the other features like dumping files. And I did find out that when you're trying to dump the actual images from your tables, it does come up with the script and it says it's going to take about 15 to 30 minutes. So when you're dumping your files, it actually takes much longer to do the dumping than it does to do the installation. So just be wary of that if you're trying to back up anything, that it could take a lot of time. But anyways, for those that are just watching along, I screwed up something, and the network interface wasn't working for 2 and 1. And we're trying to double check and start all over. So now my PCB or USB is disconnecting. It's reconnecting. It's going to disconnect one more time. And it's going to reconnect one more time. One more time. One more time, Mystery Coder. So now this is a big FU. I'm pretty sure in the next script, he's going to be like, this noob can't follow directions at all, and he should never do a live stream about this ever again, is probably what he's going to say. I can see it now. But that's okay. I mean, I don't know who else is covering this content. And I don't know who else, honestly, on YouTube is stupid enough to do live modding sessions. I swear, like, I'm the only person that does this stuff, and every single time I do something, obviously something goes wrong, but that's part of the live modding process, right? So we redid that whole step 1 and 2 again. If you have issues, maybe you'll do this too, and it's a good thing. So then we're just going to make sure we do PC setup one more time, make sure the network interface is connected, and then finish setting up PC for interaction with PCB. So I'm going to jump straight into it. Let's go ahead and install option number 3 one more time. Hit option, installing the Star Wars tables. Starting to copy the SWK APK. This will take a while. Please wait. Creating an SD folder on the PCB, writing a file to socket. So this is what I should have done. I should not have touched any cable, and I should not have been talking, and just go straight into option 3, then number 4, and then number 5. You don't have to do anything else. It should take a little bit of a while. I'll just finish installing this one pack so you can see exactly that it worked. And then we'll test out some tables again one more time. Call us quits for a stream. This is taking longer than I wanted to. I wanted this to be so short, but I failed, but that's okay. That's why I get a big FU. Let's double check what's happening on stream. You almost spit your lemon in it. Just edit the video out from your redo attempt. Oh, I could totally do that. Make sure you do sacrifice for the demo gods. The code always wins says, just do another live stream every Kong, halftime edition every episode. That's awesome. All right, that's it. I installed. Let's just finish it. I'm just gonna make sure I'm doing all of them and make sure they work. I haven't even tested option 4 and 5. This is me making sure that it works for you guys. All right, so we just finished uploading the Star Wars one, and now I'm doing the Marvel one, so you guys can see. Let's just finish this part out, because this part is actually even more exciting for me than playing the actual pinball tables. Honestly, this little interface of doing the script and seeing how to do this was more fun and exciting for me to actually see if it worked than ultimately playing with the tables, because the tables themselves, I'll be honest, there's still Android versions of the tables. They're still in 720p. They're still not as good as the PC versions of FX3 tables that I had already modded in here previously in my previous videos. So yes, while this is freaking fantastic, I'm gonna do the Williams tables too, option 5, just so we can do all of them. It's fantastic value for those that wanted to just keep the stock versions of those. You folks that follow my channel, I modded this with the PC the second I got it, pretty much right after my review. In fact, I'll tell you a little bit of a secret. When I did my Star Wars Arcade1Up review footage, I did my review maybe about a couple weeks after I got it. I was showing initial video when I first got it, but everything else from that point on in the video, I was running a PC already inside of it. I wasn't running a stock PCB. So I actually even burned my monitor and then got a replacement monitor because I was messing with it early on. So yeah, for me, is this a value add? Absolutely. Is it better than a PC version of FX3? Absolutely not. So if anybody still wants to mod their table with the FX3 pinball tables that you might already own, you can still reuse the solenoids, the plunger, the buttons, and it's still a better playing experience. Yes, a 24-inch screen than the stock one. So I'll give that disclaimer. But everything else, we installed all 3 tables. We finished. We did it. All right, that's it. That is up for the installation portion of it. And we are ready to turn this off. So I'm going to unplug the USB. I'm going to flip the power off on my switch. I'm going to remove the power. I'm going to take out my micro USB cable, flip that switch on the back panel right here back to the on position. And don't do this. Do not open this up. Remember, you're going in from the back, like Ricky Ma says, and then you can throw it in from the back. And then we're going to test this out one more time, just to make sure everything is still working. The good news about this is that it's pretty resilient for people like me that are still tinkering. You can see how much wiring and rewiring I've done in this. These tables are really resilient, and even the PCBs are resilient. So people that are worried about breaking their machines, I even think the coder was saying it's super hard to break your machine. Like, so, I mean, you could really, do a lot to it and it could still work. And I think there are some people that were saying they had issues with the if you already have power issues. That's not related to your PCB. That's because you have a monitor or PCB issue. But let's turn it on. Let's check it out. Make sure it's working. Throw these on here just for kicks. And double test it out. Double check it out one last time. Oh, maybe I did something wrong already. But that was embarrassing. It didn't go to the menu. Did I do something wrong? And it didn't go to the flash menu. That's what it should have done, right? It should have taken me to the menu. Maybe since I redid everything, it did something weird. Let's see. Let's turn it off and turn it back in. The final test was supposed to be you go back to that menu. Maybe I need to redo something else. Do I need to do something else? Let's try it one more time. At least I got it working back to stock. That was something else that I was doing. Did I flip the switch? I did flip the switch and demonetize any copyright strike. Yeah, did I flip the switch? I think I'm pretty sure I flipped the switch, but it's just running. It just jumped straight into the Star Wars pinball machine. It didn't go to the little menu. What did I do wrong? It didn't go to the menu. I broke my PCB. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the lab, everybody, and I'm totally gonna delete this stream afterwards because whatever just happened, I've done this to my PCB too many times, and now it's not working the way it should be. But you won't be like me You won't be like me and keep reflashing your same PCB over and over and over again, because this is literally like the third time that I've done this to the same PCB. And this Arcade1Up PCB is like, stop flashing your shit to my PCB. But I might even start all over with running the Arcade1Up patch and the PhoenixWare system to like just completely wipe it back to stock PCB and start all over again. But I think I just spent too much time doing the stuff. But like Tom says, well, that's crazy. It just booted up straight into this one. So I tried. You said you're going to be tracking this project in a weekend. Thanks for being a big guinea pig. You did it a million times over it and you didn't brick it. I hope you figure it out. This is really funny. TDR is going to give you the biggest FUs out there. I mean, it's hilarious that I tested this earlier on my PCB and I swear to God, everything was working. And then you go live on stream. We did the whole thing and it's not even working. Well, this was an epic fail, but this was a fun guinea pig. Do I recommend doing this version 2? You still have all those tables on there, but the launcher just isn't in desktop mode. But desktop mode isn't an option anymore. Do I have to go back and not load it up and do option 10 that doesn't exist? Nailed it. I think this is fun. No refunds. I can try at your own risk, everybody. Live modding sessions for the win. This is freaking hilarious. Murphy's Law strikes again. When anything goes wrong, can go wrong. This is funny. Arcade1Up found a way to exploit a ruse, and it's better to wait to do the mod. I think somebody just saw me say PC is better than actually modding this anyways, and screw you, we're gonna make it so that it doesn't work anymore. But no, I don't want to go through this whole process and redo it again. I'm probably going to do this offline. I will post an update video about what I did wrong. I'm pretty sure the guy is texting me right now in the Discord saying that I was terrible and did something absolutely wrong. But oh man. Yes, don't use old versions of Windows. Don't use Windows 7. And then also, if you're going to use the PCB setup modes, if it's already in network mode for version 2.1. Mysterious coder. Got him. You do demos for work and they fail all the time. I tell people to have a cam video ready to play. It probably would have been a smarter idea for sure. The version 2 hack was from John D. Yeah, that PCB was definitely like, screw you, dude. Thank you for trying. Better luck with version 19. I swear. So if you are following along for the first time, I still think this version is easier to do. The script, if you look at it itself, didn't change anything. The end result could be the same. The unpredictable behavior of reflashing your PCB over and over again, this is literally the 4th time I've done this to this PCB, may cause unpredictable results. So I will get back to you with mystery coder, mysterious coder, and see what else we get with. But otherwise, have a wonderful evening. I'm going to play Star Wars Pinball, probably not on this, on my Games Legends Pinball, because I have that fully modded with the PC. And I'm going to play in the MCAP UAG Pinball Tournament. So find me there. We're playing some Monster Bash. I have a couple more days to put up some scores. So that's where it's really at. Mod your pinball with the PC. Then you can get on some tournament play and we can play with each other. Otherwise, everybody have a wonderful evening. Sorry I didn't get to do the full demo of it, but you guys at least saw how it should have worked. And I'll report back on what's happening. Talk to you guys next time. Bye, everybody.